Hey guys, welcome to Did You Get That on Film? On this podcast, we deep dive into horror movies, and so it is full of explicit content as well as spoilers. Please be advised. Now, let's get to the show. Hi guys, this is Did You Get That on Film? And this is not a movie review, so I'm sorry about that if you guys were expecting it. Although we do have one coming very soon. I am working on it. I apologize that it has been so delayed. I am such a degenerate right now, but I have a lot going on, but we are working on it. So I promise new episode coming soon. But we wanted to in the new year start releasing these tiny, I guess we're going to call them like pulse checks. So this is just us sitting and discussing the most recent horror news, any kind of big announcements, any big movies coming up. We're going to get a chance to hear about Dante's extensive visits to the movie theater and what he's been watching lately. But that's kind of just the general idea. So it's just going to be these updates. I don't have a timeline for him yet. We just wanted to kind of do one and see how it went, see how you guys responded, if you liked it, if you didn't. But it could be a weekly thing, could be a bi-weekly thing, could be a monthly thing. We'll see. If you guys like it, let us know. If you hate it, let us know, but keep it cute, please. We're people too.
I'd hate the cuss.
Yes. I wouldn't, but I try to be as nice as possible. But yes, so with all that being said, did you want to add anything or did you want to jump into the updates?
No, let's start.
Okay. So the first item on the agenda. So I wanted to talk to you about I don't know if you saw, Terrifier 4 script was just announced. Damien Leone announced on social media. I saw it on Instagram. So he's currently working on the script for Terrifier 4. And he said in a statement, quote, "The script for Terrifier 4 is underway, and it's shaping up to be the most epic, horrifying, thrilling, emotional, and satisfying conclusion to the Terrifier saga. I've personally never been so excited to see one of my own scripts translate to the screen like this one. P.S. I will finally reveal Art's origin in this entry." Now, what do you think about finally getting Art's origin story? Be nice.
I didn't say anything.
I already kind of know how you feel, but I'm eager to hear. So what do you think?
Say what you think I'm going to say, and then I'll tell you if it's true.
Okay, so if we're like on being real, you didn't like the last two Terrifier movies. So I know that I think you gave them the last two misses, right? You gave the first one a hit, last two misses. I'm gonna say, based on some off pod talks and what you said for Terrifier 3, that you're less than enthusiastic about this particular installment. Is that correct?
True. Yeah. I'm going to go see it, but I still don't not like excited. I'll go see it out of habit.
And that's fair.
Like I went to go see the third one out of habit.
I liked the third one. I'll see it. I didn't think that I was going to like the third one as much as I did, but I did like it. So I'm excited. I think that, we talk about this when we talked about 3 and 2. I feel like Damien Leone is growing as a filmmaker,
Mm-hmm.
and he's also relinquishing some of his responsibility. He's not writing, also directing, but also like making the crew sandwiches and also doing the editing, but also making the costumes. It's like he has a crew now, he has a team. I'm hoping that that translates into his best movie yet
Hmm.
because, bigger budget, more people working on it, more eyes on it, so we'll see.
Yeah,
I feel a lot more
optimistic.
hopeful about, yeah, thank you. I feel a lot more optimistic about Terrifier 4 than I did going into Terrifier 3 because of the way I felt about Terrifier 2. But I like Terrifier 3, so I'm hoping that 4 will be his best one yet, and I think it could be.
Possibly. Like I said, I don't think they're bad. They're just not for me.
And that's totally understandable. Totally understandable. We don't really have any timeline right now, so I'm expecting that one to come out in 2026.
Yes.
So, next thing on the agenda, we got some new trailers this week. Final Destination 6, Bloodlines. We got Megan 2.0, and not necessarily horror, but definitely in the same vein. We got a trailer for a new Jurassic Park movie, Jurassic World Rebirth.
People still going to that island.
Dante, I thought the same fucking thing, Dante. I was like, are we taking fucking crazy pills at this point? It's so damn easy to not be eaten by a dinosaur. I can't even tell you. There hasn't been a day in my life, even if I lived in this universe, where I would be afraid that I would be attacked by a dinosaur. It would never happen to me. Dante, even if you told me that if you were like, oh yeah, there are dinosaurs all over China, I'd be like, word, that's crazy. But I would not be scared because China in that instance might as well be a fucking black hole.
I don't even want an egg roll.
Dante, I wouldn't even think about China. This is a remote island. It's not even like it's between you and getting to like your favorite Burger King and you have to like drive really fast through the neighborhood and you're like, oh, I made it. It's not even that kind of thing. You can actually forget that it's even on the map. But no, that's not what they do. So yeah, well let's talk about that one. So Jurassic World Rebirth, so it's supposed to be a standalone sequel to Jurassic World Dominion, which came out in 2022. This is going to be the fourth Jurassic World movie and the seventh overall movie in the Jurassic Park film series.
Wait, so the one that came out in 2022 was a reboot?
No, I don't think so.
How is it
Although,
a standalone sequel to a movie that was a sequel then?
Dante, I didn't see Jurassic World Dominion.
I haven't
Um,
seen any of them since the first Jurassic Park because I was like, damn, people were still going to Jurassic Park?
okay, so I am going to be very, very honest with everybody.
You haven't seen them?
No, I haven't seen. I saw the first three Jurassic Park movies in theaters when they came out.
Of course you. I didn't know they had you in the theater. Because the second one came out around Scream 2, right? Or Godzilla. Which one did it come out around?
So Jurassic Park 2 came out same year as Scream 2, and then the year before Godzilla 1998 with P Diddy doing the soundtrack. And P Diddy was in the video in that all white suit
I remember that.
with Godzilla. I don't know, like destroying the city behind him. I don't know.
I'll never hate that. I can't hate that.
No, Dante, I used to love it. I had that Godzilla soundtrack, and I don't. Why would anybody have that? But I bought it specifically for that P Diddy song. Before we all knew that P Diddy was a horrible person, so I just want to put that out there. We do know that he was a horrible person, but the soundtrack did slap. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah. I didn't know shit about those bitches. I was a little kid. And even if I did, this had Foo Fighters and Rage Against the Machine and the Wallflowers and Jamiroquai, Days of the New, Fuel, Green. Yeah, I would have bought this. I had to find this.
No, yet Dante, it's a severely slept on soundtrack. I don't even think people realize.
That's how I feel about End of Days. That's a slept on soundtrack.
Dante, I don't think I've ever even thought about listening to the soundtrack to End of Days. Dante, who?
It has new music by Limp Bizkit and Eminem. I can't believe you didn't know that.
No, Dante.
And the cool thing about that soundtrack is it was the first time that we got to see the new lineup of Guns N' Roses.
Crazy.
Yeah, I love that soundtrack.
I know. Okay, but let's reel it in. Okay,
Because
this is the issue.
we have not talked about one of these trailers. Not one. People forgot
Okay,
exactly what we
okay.
were talking about.
All right, so let's reel it in. We're reeling it in. Okay, so Jurassic World Rebirth. So yes, I'm going to be very honest with y'all. I have not seen a Jurassic movie since Jurassic Park 3. I liked the Jurassic Park movies. Obviously, the first one, I was scared for days. Definitely thought a T Rex was going to break through my home. But I don't know. I'm not like a huge fan of Chris Pratt, so I wasn't like really feeling the Jurassic World movies that much. But I don't know. I did watch the trailer for this one. I thought that it looked really cool. Trailers sometimes get you really hype, and I've been burned before. So the premise of this movie, this movie is supposed to take place 5 years after the events of Jurassic World Dominion. So it's scientists are going back to a dinosaur infested island, but scientists are trying to get some dinosaur DNA from the three largest prehistoric animals of land, air, and sea. And they're going to use that. Dante, don't laugh, because when I was reading this, I was like rolling my eyes so fucking hard. They need this dinosaur DNA in order to create a miracle drug that's going to like save humanity.
They want to say this humanity?
Yes.
No.
No, but there's getting this drug is supposed to save humans. Some kind of way this is going to be like the premise, but of course, to no one's surprise, chaos ensues. So, one thing that I guess is unique about this particular Jurassic Park movie is that this island is filled with a bunch of failed mutated dinosaurs which have been surviving here. And one thing that they did show in the trailer is a mutated T-Rex. But it is a good trailer, so, I'm going to try to be positive. It's new cast, and it's scheduled to be released. It's gonna be a summer blockbuster,
Hmm.
July 2nd, 2025. So, yeah. So we also got the teaser trailer for Megan 2.0. The teaser trailer was just Megan dancing, eating it up.
Good.
Yes, it was great. It was everything that we wanted from a Megan teaser trailer. And the premise of this one is Gemma, she has become an author and an advocate for regulation of artificial intelligence since the events of Megan 1. But Megan's technology, which she helped create, so it's been stolen and it's being used by a defense contractor to create a spy robot called Amelia, who becomes self aware and is set on this like AI robot takeover. So Gemma responds to this by reconstructing an upgraded Megan in order to fight Amelia. It's going to be a robot v robot type film. Yeah, I think it's gonna be really sassy. I think it's probably gonna have some dancing. I think it's gonna have a lot of one-liners. And I think that this is not going to be a serious one.
Of
I don't
course.
think that we're gonna be moved by this film, but I do think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun movie.
Okay.
So yeah, Megan 2.0.
I haven't seen the trailer. I tried not to watch too many trailers. I even missed part of the movie I went to see yesterday because I was trying to avoid trailers.
I respect that.
So I haven't seen any of them because they give too much away, and they ruined one of the movies for me.
No, that's an understatement. I think I can't remember exactly what it was for, but maybe it was Scream 6. It could have been Scream 5, although I think that I'd stopped watching trailers after the first couple for Scream 5, so maybe it was Scream 6, I don't remember. They gave something away, and I was, like, super heated because I was like, "Damn, the closer you get to the movie being released, they just put major plot points."
So now I always go in 15, 20 minutes after the start time so that I miss the trailers. But yeah, I'm excited to see this one.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's gonna be fun.
When does it come out? In June? Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
June 27th, 2025, so very soon.
Okay. I think this is going to be exciting.
Yeah. I think that it's gonna be exciting because I think it's going to be leaning into all the things that made Megan popular in the first place. I think that's why the teaser trailer is just her, like, dancing. I mean, fucking it up. Dante, you could watch this trailer because it's just a teaser. It's literally just her getting down. She would have been with us at the
At the frat
club,
house.
at the frat house.
Pay for drinks for her dancing.
Yes. That's Megan.
Oh, Megan, where were you?
I know. We could have used you, girl.
We needed the ride home.
But yes. Final trailer, so Final Destination Bloodline. So, like I said, it's the sixth installment of the franchise. So, Final Destination 5, I don't know if you remember. So, I saw it in theaters. I don't remember much about it except some of the kills.
And the ending.
Yes, that
It's a spoiler.
it's a spoiler. So, if you don't want to know, just skip ahead 10 seconds. Final Destination 5 is a
Prequel.
prequel. Yeah, so it but you don't know that when you go into the movie.
No.
You don't know that initially. It's something that you find out at the end. And it's great. It's great. Love it.
Because then you go back and watch it, and you look at the spa gift certificate, and it has a date on it. It expired in May 2001.
Yes.
And nobody has a cell phone, and it's just like you don't even notice it.
And that's really the beauty of it. And I was actually reading when I was looking up stuff about Bloodlines.
Yeah.
They had to find ways to make really creative and interesting kills, but they had to find a way to make it so they were plausible for that
Time
time
frame.
period. Yes. But also not so dated that you were like, what the fuck? Like, that it gave you any kind of inkling that it was a prequel.
Why is she using dial-up?
Dante, yes, exactly.
That's why you die.
Bitch, you're using dial up, and then at the end you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I really hope that all of our listeners know what dial up is because I feel like we're dating ourselves here. But yes, so they first announced Bloodlines in 2019, and then it kind of got held up by the pandemic. It kind of went through a lot. A couple of different writers were on board, but they have finally chosen writers, chosen director, and it's set to be released on May 16th, 2025. So it's like about to come out. And we just got our first trailer for it. The premise of this movie is a college student is experiencing a recurring nightmare that foretells her family's demise. She returns home to find the person who can prevent it.
Okay.
Producers have said that calling this a reboot is probably too strong of a word. They're not using reboot, but they are saying that this film will be very different from the franchise's usual formula. So there is some speculation. I saw that the movie is probably going to take place in like kind of two different timelines. So you're going to have a past and a present timeline. Also, I think been confirmed by Bloody Disgusting that we're going to get some flashbacks to William Bloodworth's childhood. So, for anybody that doesn't know, William Bloodworth is played by Tony Todd, the late Tony Todd. So, in September of 2023, Tony Todd officially signed on to reprise his role as William Bloodworth. So, he is the owner of Bloodworth Funeral Home. He's like the coroner. And throughout the series, he's shown up in Final Destination 1, Final Destination 2, and 5. He has some kind of eerie, seemingly expert knowledge about the way that this whole like death thing works. So he is actually the first person in the franchise that explains the quote unquote rules of death to Alex and Claire in the first movie. He is the person that kind of sets that groundwork. But apparently this film will finally explore the character's backstory, and I know that that is something that people were really excited about because people have so many theories about who William Bloodworth is. Like, how does he know all this stuff? But Tony Todd actually passed away in November of 2024. But recently, Warner Brothers did confirm that he did shoot all of his scenes for this film. So I think that this is going to be Tony Todd's very last role in a feature film. which makes it kind of bittersweet.
Yeah. I've seen the first and second, and I've seen the fifth one. I'm not gonna lie, the third and fourth. Which one has the roller coaster?
The third one.
I saw the first scene of the third one.
I I saw 1, 2, 3, and 5 in theaters. And then I watched 4 later. Tony Todd is not in 3 or 4.
But he does make a appearance. He's the voice of the devil on the roller coaster.
Yes.
Look at me with facts.
I know, look at you! Fun fact. I love when horror actors get work, so I very deeply respected that. But yeah, 3 and 4 were kinda lulls for me.
Does four have the one with when the asshole gets sucked in the pool?
I actually think it was in the 3rd one.
Did I see the third one?
Oh, no, it's in the 4th one. Oh, so I did see the 4th one in theaters because I saw this man get his asshole sucked out of his asshole in theaters, and I was so appalled. I did not like that at
You
fucking all.
glitched.
Yes, I have never been so uncomfortable. Dante, it's horrible to see someone get their eye fucked up with LASIK surgery, like their eye burn. That's really horrible. It's really horrible to see someone crushed by like a plate of glass. It's really horrible to see somebody die by like a fucking 50 nails going through the head with a nail gun. But watching this man get his asshole innards sucked through his asshole outwards, I was very, very deeply disturbed. Dante, I think about it a lot, actually. If I ever go near a pool, you bet your bottom dollar I'm thinking about that guy's asshole. Oh my god! I wish they would have just let him drown, like got him sucked down by how like his back, and then he drowned, and they found him later. But to do that, there was a sick motherfucker in the writing room that day.
That is a really messed up way to die.
Yes. Ugh. I'm gonna have to watch those movies again because now I'm like mixing up which ones happened in which. But we should cover those movies. But reeling it back in.
Reeling it back in. Excited about those.
Yeah, no. And then in Bloodlines, I didn't want to get into it because I don't want to ruin anything for anybody that doesn't want anything ruined for them. There was a plot leak for this movie, and you can look it up online if you want to. So Final Destination, it's coming out in May.
Yeah.
We will see Tony Todd in his final role, so I'm very excited about that. So, moving on to the next thing on the agenda. Robert Eggers has a new movie coming out. So, it is a werewolf movie, and Robert Eggers he's re-teaming up with Focus Features, so that's the production company that he worked with for Nosferatu as well. And the name of the movie is Werewolf. Werewolf.
Oof.
So WERWULF. Obviously, it's a horror movie, and he co-wrote it, and he's going to be directing it. So they've already dated it to be released theatrically on Christmas Day of 2026. So very Nosferatu esque. He wrote the movie with Sean, I think is how you pronounce it, Sean, who was actually his co-writer for the movie The Northman as well. So apparently the movie is going to be set in 13th century England, and the script is supposedly going to feature dialogue that was true to the time, so it's going to be like a period piece. And there's going to be some translations and annotations for those that are not familiar with Old English, because Old English.
It's German.
Yes, I know that. No, I know that y'all are probably thinking that Old English is something like what was in Nosferatu, where it's like
No.
Faust and whilst. No, Old English.
It's not Shakespeare. It's German. It's fucking German.
It's no. If you see it on paper, it's not. You wouldn't even think that it was English. So I'm eager to see. I think that Robert Eggers produces bangers.
Did you see Nosferatu?
I sure did. I never see stuff in theaters, but I actually one day I saw a double feature. I saw Nosferatu and Wicked back to back, 6 hours worth of movie time. It was so fucking good.
Good.
I can't stand that people did not like that movie. Oh my god, it hurts my soul. I just feel like it was such just a straightforward adaptation of Dracula Nosferatu, but also infinitely better. I
Yes.
just thought it was so fucking well done. I thought it was amazing. But yeah, so because of that, I'm excited. I it was a real hit for me. And this might be controversial. I hate The Witch. I know that people say that it is like a modern day masterpiece. I don't agree, and a big part of me that I don't agree with it is because
Couldn't hear everything.
yeah, I don't know what that movie is about. I couldn't hear shit. I couldn't
It's
see
dark.
shit. Dante, I'm getting a headache just thinking about
Why
it.
would this?
I tried to watch it because I tried to revisit it. I went back. I watched it on my TV at home. I usually keep my TV sound on 20. I'll put it on 25 for something that's like a little bit softer, like a drama period piece that's a little bit softer. I put my goddamn TV on 80 and I couldn't it doesn't and then I turned the brightness all the way up. I was like, "What is this movie about?" They were practically whispering, and then all of a sudden it'd be like bright as shit, and there's this goat, and everybody's yelling, and I'm like, "Okay, I tried. I did my best." My heart is like palpitating thinking about how much I don't like that movie. So I say all that to say I was very happy with Nosferatu, and so I am also now eager for the
Werewolf.
werewolf movie. Yes. I'm hoping that it is more Nosferatu leaning and less the witch leaning. At the very least, I want to be able to hear what the fuck they're saying.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. So I love Nosferatu. I'm very excited about Werewolf. So, next thing on the agenda, Guillermo del Toro has a Frankenstein movie. It's set to be released on Netflix this November. It is his own adaptation of Mary Shelley's novel Frankenstein, and it's apparently his favorite novel of all time. I think when he won an Academy Award for The Shape of Water, I think he like shouted out Mary Shelley. He thinks that she's great. So he's doing this adaptation. Apparently, he's been working on this film for more than a decade. It is a big passion project for him. And it has an all-star cast, including Scream Queen Mia Goth. It also features Jacob Elordi. He is actually going to be Frankenstein's monster. So I thought that that was interesting.
Well, he's like tall.
He's dumb tall. Dumb tall. And they showed kind of like a picture of him. There's like a promo pic. He's laying down. You can't like see that it's him, but I was like, damn, the boy is long.
That's a huge bitch.
So that's going to be Frankenstein's monster. And then Oscar Isaac is going to be Dr. Victor Frankenstein.
I feel like Oscar Isaac is the perfect pick.
No, I mean, I think it's great. He looks good in the promo pics. I think it works.
I think it's gonna be good.
I think it's going to be good too. I think it's going to be really well done.
It's on Netflix.
It's going to premiere on Netflix, yes, in November. But I think that that's because Guillermo del Toro, I think he has some kind of deal with Netflix because he has a show on Netflix, Cabinet of Curiosities. It's great. If anybody hasn't seen it, I recommend it. It's nice because it's kind of like Twilight Zoney, where it's small little stories, like little shorts. So each episode is just like a short little story of its own. I like stuff like that because I don't have like a great attention span sometimes for long shows, but I think that that's why. So it is not going to get a theatrical release.
Oh,
I know, but funny enough, so I added this like right before we started recording, but I saw a bunch of promo pics. I don't know if you remember this. So Maggie Gyllenhaal also has a Frankenstein type movie coming out. So it is called The Bride, and I guess it is more of a adaptation of The Bride of Frankenstein. It's a little bit different though because it's set in 1930s Chicago. So this one has Christian Bale as Frankenstein's monster and Jessie Buckley as the bride. And I saw some set photos. It looks interesting.
Wow.
Oh, are you looking at the pictures?
I'm just kind of like, what the freak?
Yeah, no, it's definitely different.
You know what it looks like, to be honest? Looking at the pictures. You remember that movie that came out this year or last year, Lisa Frankenstein?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, but I feel like Lisa Frankenstein is so indicative of the 80s, and this one I feel is like really indicative of the 30s. It's a very, very, very much like a time piece.
When does it come out?
It's coming out September 26th of this year.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, I mean, it's definitely coming out soon. So, next thing on the agenda, I just wanted to add this because it's not necessarily movie related, but I do think that it's in the same vein. And there was a movie. So, I don't know if you heard, but there's a Buffy the Vampire revival that's in the works with Hulu. And I'm saying revival because it is not a reboot or like a remake or anything because it's essentially Sarah Michelle Gellar, I think, is coming back as
It's Buffy?
Buffy. Yeah, as bringing the show back. So Sarah Michelle Gellar made a statement on Instagram. So it's a little long, but I want y'all to hear like I guess where this is in production from the star. So the statement says, "So, you might have heard some news this week, but I realize you haven't heard from me. 3 years ago, I got a call from my dear friend and mentor, Gail Berman. She told me that she wanted me to sit down with Chloe Zhao to hear her take on a potential Buffy revival. I was blown away that Chloe even knew who I was, but as I've always done, I told Gail that I just didn't see a way for the show to exist again. We'd always been aligned on that, but this time I heard something different in her voice. I eventually agreed to go, mainly just to meet Chloe, and our 20-minute coffee quickly turned into a 4-hour adventure. We laughed, we cried, but mostly we both talked about how much this show means to us. While I didn't agree to anything at the meeting, I did shock myself by agreeing to continue the conversation. These conversations did, in fact, continue over the next few years, and eventually we added the incredible Nora and Lilia Zuckerman to our little tribe until ultimately one day we landed on an idea. I've always listened to the fans and heard your desire to revisit Buffy and her world, but it was not something I could do unless I was sure we would get it right. This has been a long process, but it's not over yet. I promise you we will only make this show if we know we can do it right, and I will tell you that we are on the path there. I feel so lucky to be on this journey with these four unbelievably talented women, all of whom love Buffy as much as I do and as much as you do. Thank you to all the fans who never stopped asking for this. This will be for you." So, there isn't any kind of timeline yet, but according to People magazine, there is a pilot that is in the works. So, if you're a fan of Buffy, it looks like it's coming. Next thing on the agenda, so moving on. So, we have some news that I thought this was a little weird. So, in December 2024, we got some news that there was not only was there going to be an American Psycho remake, but that Austin Butler who had been cast as Patrick Bateman and a director had been chosen. So Luca Guadagnino was supposed to be directing. This was like announced, okay? There's like variety articles about it. Then, strangely, very oddly, at the beginning of January, the American Psycho author, Bret Easton Ellis, he made a statement. So this was on his podcast. So I'm going to read it to you like how it says. So it says, quote, "I have a feeling it's fake news," which was I was like, "Oh, okay, really?" So he said, "I heard somewhere from somebody that there are no contracts. Austin Butler signed nothing. Luca doesn't have a deal. Scott Burns, who's supposed to write the screenplay, doesn't have a deal either." So he also said, "From various sources that I have, this is just fake news, and it was put out there to see how an audience was going to react. If it does exist, I'm not involved. I have nothing to do with it. I might get some money if they do it, but I'm not involved creatively on any level, and that's all that I know." So That's like a little update on that, and it has left me a little bewildered because I'm like, is it happening or not? Because I'm like, Bret Easton Ellis, like, how are you all up in Austin Butler's pockets saying my man doesn't have a contract? You know what I mean? Like, I thought that was like a little weird.
Well, when they have to inform him they were making a movie about his book?
I thought the same thing. I was like, wouldn't they have to get permission? But it feels like no, maybe not, because he said, I am not involved. I have nothing to do with this. I might get some money if they do this, but I'm not involved creatively on any level. That is all I know. So I'm like, do they have to get his permission? Because people can sell the rights to their books.
I can believe what Brett Ellis is saying, that people just put out stories to see what people think.
I can believe that, but to go as far as to say we've hired an actor, a specific actor, and a specific director, a specific screenwriter, that seems like a lot just to get a pulse check on what people are thinking. You know what I mean?
But for me, it's just more wishful thinking because I don't want it to happen. So I'm just trying to hope that he's right.
Yeah, no, I don't necessarily want it to happen either.
First of all, I don't think we need this movie. Secondly, I don't think people got the movie the first time that it's a satire. And if they didn't get it 25 years ago, this new crop of people definitely will
Dante,
not.
don't even get me fucking started.
We don't deserve satire like that, like we don't deserve new Rihanna music. When we get our act together as a society, we can get nice things.
I agree.
Just don't touch the fucking movie. Will I go see it? Yes, I saw the new Crow. But I hope that Brett Ellis is correct. I hope that he was like, this is just how they do it. And because the pulse check has been, please God, no one do this.
Yeah, no, you're right, but I think that there's been a lot of stuff that we have been like, "No," and they did it anyway, i.e., The
The
Crow.
Crow.
Yeah. I guess I'm just longing for original ideas, and then there are a lot of movies that I feel like could have been really good that had, like, a poor budget and might, a remake of them might elevate them, it might make it better. I just think that there's other things out there.
Like, for example, this is one of my examples, and we talked about it before. You know, I don't really have a lot of love for myself, so I've read the Vampire Chronicles, suffered through them. But they always remake the Interview with the Vampire. But
Yes.
there are other books in the Chronicles that would make phenomenal movies. For
Mm.
example, my favorite one is The Tale of the Body Thief. That would be such a good movie. It would be so good. And it has Lestat in it, but it would be such a good movie. But they never do it because whenever it's time to redo another Anne Rice movie, they redo Interview with the
Interview,
Vampire.
yeah. No, that's a really, really good example.
There's so much literature that can be translated. No, we read horror books all the time, and we think they'll be great movies. One from the
Mhm.
'80s, new stuff. What was that one you read? Come Close.
Yeah, Come Closer, the
Come
demonic
Closer.
possession.
Just
Yeah.
would be a great movie, you know. And it's just like, no,
No, Dante, that's you're making such good points. There are some amazing horror writers out there, like Grady Hendrix, for
right?
example. He's
Yeah,
an amazing horror writer, and I think that they are bringing some real heat in horror literature right now.
right,
I think that you could pull from those books. I think that people would like this, and I think I think that the audience too has to be tasked with giving original stuff a chance.
right.
I think that production companies, I think that Miramax, they want sure things. It's the reason we're getting a seventh installment in the Jurassic Park franchise. At the end of the day, they want money, they want butts and seats, and people are going to go see things. I cannot tell you how many people that I've talked to that are like, not really happy with the direction that Scream is going in, but they're like, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go see it. And it's like, if you always continue doing that, if we as a society, if we're like, well, let's go see if they redeemed it this time, or let's go see, you know what I mean? But you skip out on things like Oddity. I thought Oddity was so fucking amazing. It was so scary and phenomenal. I was in here, slept with the lights on. It was so good, but it's like it was so slept on.
And you had to go see it. You had no time to think about it. You had to go see that movie because it was in theaters
For two weeks.
for 2 weeks straight up. I was just like, well, damn. When I was supposed to see this movie, Oddity was one. There was yeah, I found my letterbox because I have my top 10, but my number 2 movie of last year for horror was Cuckoo.
Hmm.
Oh my god! If people didn't see it,
Yeah.
we were eating good in July last year, y'all. July and August last year, it was every week I was in the movie there like, damn.
2024 in general, I think, was
A
one of the
year.
best years that we've had in horror in a long time, and that's we're gonna talk about that more when we go into like our next point, which is why I think that we're seeing so much more recognition, horror being recognized in like the award season, because
Yeah.
we had some good shit last year. But it's like you have to task yourself with going to see that stuff. If you only see the biggest budget stuff, if you only see the sequels, you're just like, I'm gonna drag myself to go see the fifth installment of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Then it's like, okay, it's just going to reinforce the production company behavior. Like, let's just keep rehashing the same thing to death.
All right.
And things like Cuckoo, or I felt like, Longlegs got really big because of some banging marketing, but then I just feel like, people have their feelings about Longlegs. We did an episode on it. It is coming soon, I swear.
We got more unreleased than Tupac. Y'all don't even know. We got a whole bunch of
I
unreleased.
know, no, we have a lot of episodes recorded. And then we have people that have reached out, like we have our new friend Desh who reached out. We have Michael who actually emailed us, which I was super touched by that. But they requested movies, so we are going to get into the requests again. I know Desh requested Scream 3, and we're already, and we've been, Scream 3 has been on the list to record since we've started the podcast.
Yes, but Scream 3 is coming, y'all.
Scream 3 is coming. We've already recorded Scream 2, so I'm editing that. We're going to get Scream 2 out. We're going to get Scream 3 out. All these things are coming. We have Longlegs, we have Barbarian, we have The Strangers. We have a ton of stuff in the vault. I am getting through the editing. But yes, I just think, and I think we talk about this a lot in some episode. Oh, All Hallows Eve. We did record that. We put that out. That was our Halloween episode. But it's like, oh, I feel like people that I know in our circle, in the community that we have online, we are begging original content, please, original horror, please bring it to us. But it's like we have to, turn the mirror on ourselves too at the same time, because it's like, yeah, I am gonna go see Scream. If I'm being very real, I'm gonna go fucking see it. But it's like we also have to see the little stuff. Support the little guys. Support the
I'm there.
original content. Well, we know you are.
Shit,
How many movies did
shit.
you see last year?
43.
Okay. So nobody can check Dante and say that Dante is not getting his
At
ass
the
in
movie.
there and at the movies and supporting these filmmakers. It's like, just support them. I think if you haven't seen Oddity, go watch it.
It's on Shutter.
Yeah, Shudder is great for that kind of stuff. Just go support. Just watch it, write about it. Get it in the algorithms. I just think there's a lot out there for people to see.
There's so many.
Yeah, so let's okay, let's reel it in. Let's get off our little soapbox.
I'll talk about the faculty.
Yeah, so in the same vein, remake. So apparently we don't know making American Psycho or not. That's kind of up in the air. But the Faculty remake, Miramax has confirmed it. So they are remaking 1998 sci-fi horror The Faculty. They announced it last month. Apparently, Robert Rodriguez, who directed the original film, he is going to produce this film,
Mm-hmm.
and Drew Hancock, who his debut film was actually Companion that you just saw in theaters. He is writing the script.
Okay.
So there is no timeline on it just yet, but it is in the works. So that is definitely coming.
I'm not too upset about this one because I think that body invasion of the body snatcher movies are just part of like every generation has theirs.
I agree with
You
that.
know? Yeah, I think they always kind of had these kind of movies.
I agree. I am not that upset with this particular remake. I think that, We were talking a minute ago about American Psycho, how that movie is just really like a time capsule of that particular time, that it would be really difficult to have a modern take on a movie like that. I don't think that The Faculty falls into that category. And while there are a lot of 90s elements in the movie just because it was shot during that time period, there's nothing about the movie that is very specific to that time period that couldn't be remade. The story itself is really just kind of a straightforward retelling of the same old, like body snatcher type storyline. I think that it fits really well in that genre.
Mhm.
And one thing that it has going for it is that, while we love it, realistically, it is just a cult classic. It isn't considered a masterpiece like people typically consider The Thing or like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So I think that people's expectations won't be nearly as high when studios remake these movies that people hold dear, that they really kind of consider classics. People go into it and they can't help but compare it to the original. And a lot of times, unfortunately, they don't tend to stack up. The
Mhm.
Faculty isn't really like that. It's good, but not a classic. And the effects were really good for the time. But, when you watch it now, the effects are a little bit dated. And I think that with some modern day effects, I think that it could actually be a really good remake.
Going back and watch it as a adult, you're like, this shit looks silly.
That head crawling around.
I didn't want to say that, but I was like, that shit looks so stupid. I love that movie, and I think we talked about our '90s movies, and I think it's in both of ours. I know it's in mine.
Yeah, I really like that movie. So fingers crossed. Let's hope that they can pull off this remake. So, the next thing on the agenda that I wanted to talk about, so Alien Romulus, The Substance, and Nosferatu have all been nominated for Academy Awards. I think altogether it's 13 awards total, with The Substance earning by itself 5 nominations, including Best Picture and Best Actress for Demi Moore. And this actually marks the first year since 1987 that there are actually 3 horror films that have been nominated in the same year. And then additionally, The Substance is only the 7th horror movie in the nearly 100 years of the Academy Awards that has been nominated for Best Picture. So it is up there with some really amazing movies, including The Exorcist, Jaws, Silence of the Lambs, The Sixth Sense, Black Swan, and Get Out. And The Silence of the Lambs is the only one of all of those movies that has ever actually won the award. It's very exciting. I'm really, really excited for Demi Moore. I feel like she really deserves this recognition because Demi Moore has had an extremely long career. And as we found out when she won the Golden Globe for Best Actress, this is the only time in her life that she's ever been nominated for literally anything. Don't you think that's crazy?
When she said she never won a reward before, I was like, Demi Moore never even won a People's Choice Award in the '90s.
No. I was so sad for her because her speech was amazing and also very, very touching.
I was like, wow. Like Demi Moore, who, was in like People Love Ghosts, People Love A Few Good Men. My favorite is Striptease, The Juror. Those are my 2 favorite Demi Moore movies. Like she didn't win like a comeback award for Charlie's 2. Like nothing. I couldn't believe that Demi Moore doesn't have a People's Choice Award.
And I know that it's like people feel how they feel about it, but I actually thought that she did a really good job in Full Throttle. I thought that she gave a really touching performance in an overall, like, kind of goofy movie.
I was never good.
I
I
was
was great.
great. With that fucking those tears and that bit of snot, I was like, "Girl, you are giving in this movie.
You gotta understand how we feel about those Charlie's Angels movies. The second one for sure.
I love that movie.
I just can't believe that people disrespected Demi Moore like that. Not even the people. Kirstie Alley has a People's Choice Award.
Dante, don't even get me started.
She's done so many movies. She didn't win anything for Ghost.
No, she didn't. Even though I think Ghost was nominated for Best Picture that year,
Whoopi Goldberg won her Oscar for Ghost.
which is controversial to me because I think that not that I don't love Whoopi Goldberg and not that I don't think that she's like one of the highlights of that movie, but I feel like we're paying for not giving it to her for playing Celie when she was absolutely robbed.
You want to talk about a debut performance? Bar none. She still won an Oscar for Celie.
But alas, she
She didn't.
didn't.
And because she won that Oscar for that comedic role, she gave us the greatest movie of all time, Sister
Jump.
Act.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Jumpin' Jack Flash. That was before.
No, that was before. Jumping now, everybody. I don't think y'all know this because we were talking about it, but Jumping Jack Flash is like one of my favorite movies. Unironically, I talk about it all the time.
No, really.
I actually make Ruth sick.
No, straight up. But yes, okay, so reeling it in.
I'm not rooting for her to win though.
Okay.
all to say.
Okay.
I want Mikey to win.
Okay, so yes, so that's it. That is another thing. So it's not a horror movie, but Mikey Madison has been nominated for Best Actress for Honora. And anybody that doesn't remember, she plays Amber Freeman. She is the Ghostface one in Scream 5. And it's a proud moment because she's actually the second Ghostface to be nominated for an Academy Award. So the first one, obviously, when you think about any one of those Ghostface that could have ever been nominated for an Academy Award, it's Laurie Metcalf. And she was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her performance in Lady Bird in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So wishing all the luck to Mikey Madison. I think that she is great. She's young. I mean, it would be a really big accomplishment for her to win this. And I think it's like, I mean, amazing. Just for the type of story that it is, for the performance that she was able to bring to the table.
If you haven't seen it, you have to see it. It's so good. Honora is like overall probably one of the better movies I saw last year. She's so good in it. And what's
Yeah.
crazy is she said that she got the role because Sean Baker, who was the director and the writer of the movie, saw her in Scream 2022.
Amazing. So, yes. So, I wish all of the ladies luck, and we shall see if The Substance has what it takes to win Best Picture.
The Substance is great. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It was one of my top 10 horror movies of last year. It might be top 5.
We'll see how it goes. I'm rooting for everybody. Okay, so moving on to our last point on the agenda. It needs to be discussed. So, fucking Scream 7 casting announcements. So, Scream 7 is in production right now. So, Nev Campbell talked about it. Of course, Nev Campbell is back. Of course, Gail Weathers is back. Our girl Courtney Cox. She loves the character, so no surprise there. But in the past couple of weeks, we've got a ton of casting updates from Scream. It feels like there's a new one every single day, and it's starting to chafe. One of the first things that was announced, so obviously we know that Kevin Williamson is returning to direct this time. Not write, but direct. And Joel McHale. So you might know Joel McHale if you have to use Bengay when you get up in the morning, or if you sleep funny and it'll ruin your whole week. If you're of our age, you might remember Joel McHale from The Soup. He hosted The Soup.
I love The Soup.
I like The Soup too, but he's also Jeff on Community. He's been cast, y'all. He's playing Mark. Now this is a irritating, very fucking annoying switcheroony on their part because They're trying to I feel like they're playing in our face because he's playing Mark, which is very odd because I don't know if you guys remember, I'm sure you do if you're Scream fanatics. Mark is a character that was played by Patrick Dempsey in Scream 3. He played a cop and he was kind of sweet on Sydney. Sydney was kind of sweet on him.
Was she?
Maybe she was going through a lot. She didn't really have time to do that. She's like, I'm being fucking haunted by my mother. And so she wasn't really thinking about that. But what's leading me to say that is the fact that they mention Sydney's husband in Scream 5 and Scream 6 extensively. It's always like me and Mark. Mark, how's Mark? Mark decided she left with Mark. So obviously, we as Scream fans are like, oh my god, she got together finally with the cop Mark from Scream 3. But Miramax was like, no, no. If you assume that, then you're a fucking idiot. Because it's not that Mark, it's a different Mark. It's Joel McHale Mark and not Patrick Dempsey Mark. And I don't like that. This is how I know that we assumed that it was Mark and that they assumed that it was the same Mark too. Because Patrick Dempsey did an interview where he was like, yeah, there are talks happening. I'm excited to return. I'm just waiting for the script.
Nope. Is he gonna be funny?
That's my thing. Why this particular actor?
It reminds you of
Fucking Judy Greer.
Oh my god.
So we talked about it in our episode of Halloween 2018. Judy Greer was cast as Laurie Strode's daughter in Halloween 2018. And, I think a lot of people liked her as Karen. I think a lot of people really liked that movie. We didn't like that. We did not think that she was a good casting choice. When it came time for her to give this emotional monologue or to do anything in her acting that really required, I think, any like really raw feeling, I felt like Judy Greer's performance fell really flat.
It was like she wasn't even in the same movie at times. I was like, is this out of her range? She was more serious in 13 going on 30.
Yeah. I'm not saying I love Judy Greer. I think she's great, but I was like, maybe this role was not right for her. I have never seen Joel McHale in a serious role. I've never seen him not being silly.
He looked goofy to me.
Yes, yes. That's what I mean by I've never seen him being serious. He has that fucking face.
I just don't understand. I don't understand why they thought this was appropriate.
Yeah, I'm a little bit thrown off by that. So, okay, Joel McHale did a little switcheroo. I don't know if Patrick Dempsey, maybe there might be some scheduling conflict because we know that he's coming back for Thanksgiving too. I don't know if they weren't trying to pay Patrick Dempsey the money that he was asking for, but yeah, he's not coming back, and I thought that was like kind of a bummer.
If it comes out that it was about money, I would be so mad.
Well, we don't know why it is. We don't know, but it seemed like he wanted to do it. He seemed eager, and not just seemed eager. Patrick Dempsey was being real about it. He was like, it's always good to have work, and I was like, I very much respect that. So I think that he wanted to do it. So I don't know exactly why he's not doing it. Nobody said anything, and that almost makes it even weirder that they're not addressing it. But moving on to the next casting update. So, I don't know if you remember, but Scream 7 has been pretty mired in a lot of casting controversies already. Like, specifically, Melissa Barrera getting unjustly fired and Jenna Ortega quitting in solidarity. And then when that happened, there wasn't any room anymore for the other two members of the core four, so Chad and Mindy from Screams 5 and 6. So they weren't coming back. The actress Jasmine Savoy Brown actually said specifically, she's like, no, I'm not going to be in that movie. Everybody was like, we're not going to be in it. Well, then, Mason Gooding is coming back. So Mason Goody plays Chad. So he was announced first. And then shortly after, they announced that Jasmine Savoy Brown is in fact coming back. So we are getting the twins, Chad and Mindy Meeks Martin, back in the movie.
What you think?
It's not that I don't like them because I really do like those two characters.
Speak on it.
It's just that I feel like where is the room for them if we don't have the Carpenter sisters? Like, I guess I'm like, why do we need them in Sydney's storyline when
She never met them.
she never even met them?
And I know this story cannot be in Westboro.
No.
It would be one thing if it was like it was in Woodsboro and Chad moves home because he's crippled. I can believe that. Sydney is not back in Woodsboro, especially with Dewey being dead. What is she in Woodsboro for?
Sydney has zero reason to go to Woodsboro, so I can't imagine that it would be there. And then Chad and Mindy moved to New York. Does Chad go home to live with his mom? I would think that you would. Mindy got hurt too. Do they go home to live with their mom because they've been hurt? But then Gail also lives in New York. I don't know. I don't really exactly know where they're going to fit into this story.
Yeah, I don't like that you. Are you gonna bring them back to kill them off?
I saw somebody say that they thought that they might bring them back to kill them off. Chad Mason Gooding, actually, he did an interview and he said, he was like, I would like to die in a horror movie. He's like, I feel like I've earned that because he should have died in Scream 5, but he didn't. And we were happy about that. We like that character. In Scream 6, not enough people died. It was quite infuriating. The fact that Chad got stabbed as many times as he did and survived is so fucking deplorable. Like, if you cannot commit to killing off your main characters, then I feel like you're writing a movie in the wrong fucking franchise. Every single member of the core four lived. It's like, if there's no risk, then you can't take them seriously.
The core four could live. I had no problem with that because Gail and Sydney and Dewey was always living. They kept Kirby alive. They kept Danny alive.
Dante.
They kept Gail alive, and they know not to touch Gail.
Yes. But yes, I mean, neither Chad nor Mindy had to die, but you don't get every single one of your characters near death and then back off. Well, let's keep going because, we could probably predict based on other casting decisions that Skeet Ulrich is probably coming back. So he's probably coming back. He played Ghostface Billy. He died in Scream 1. Dante, let me readjust myself because I am starting to itch because I'm so irritated by this. We said this, Dante, last year, maybe even the year before that. People have been vying. No, it was before Scream 5 even came out because people are like, "Oh, Stu should come back. Stu should come back." Dante, I said when people started pushing for that, I was like, if Stu Macher comes back to this franchise, I will never watch another Scream movie ever again. Well, last week they announced that Matthew Lillard, who played Ghostface Stu and died horrifically in Scream 1, is coming back. And I have a lot of fucking feelings about it.
Okay, okay. Whew.
But before we go in on that, let's just also add additionally, Scott Foley, who played the Ghostface Roman / Sydney's brother in Scream 3, who also died, he has also been confirmed to be coming back.
And Mark Consuelos.
I thought that was weird too. I was like, wait, what? Why?
I just thought Mark Consuelos being in this movie is very strange.
No, wait, but Dante, even stranger than that, it's like, okay, yeah, that's strange, but fucking out of nowhere, out of fucking the ether, they announced Ethan Embry has joined the cast. Now, if you don't know who Ethan Embry is, he plays Preston Myers in one of our favorite movies, a guy that's like sort of tall, has hair, and wears t-shirts sometimes.
The greatest teen comedy of the 90s.
Can't hardly wait.
Bar none. Baby, that is a movie and that is a soundtrack.
Highly recommend. Everybody should watch it. But yes, he's in that. So he plays Preston. He's
Oh
in
my god,
like Empire Records. He's in like National Lampoon Vegas Vacation.
I like that one.
These are really big like 90s movies. Ethan Embry is a comedic actor.
Who is cast in this movie?
So I don't know. So yeah, so that's the thing. So let's go back. Billy and Stu, we can assume Billy's coming back. Stu's definitely coming back. Roman is definitely coming back.
Oh my god, Skeet Ulrich's coming back.
I have to assume that he's coming back. If you go on Google and you look at the cast of this movie, Skeet Ulrich is listed. And I don't know in what world they would bring Stu back and not bring Billy back, because Stu was definitely second fiddle Ghostface to Skeet in the first place. And then I hated the way that they retconned in Scream 3 that Billy was not the mastermind of Maureen's death, that
Right.
Roman planned it.
That was so whack.
It was very whack. I had a lot of feelings about that. I really hate that decision. I hate that that became canon. But my first thought when they were like, okay, Stu and Roman are coming back, and whether people want to talk a lot, it's always people that never had to pick up and carry a box TV when they were rearranging their bedrooms at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Stressed.
Yeah, stress. People that never picked up a box TV have always been like, oh, well, Stu could have lived.
No, y'all.
My lower back can guarantee you that Stu could not survive a box screen that big being slammed on his face. He couldn't. Roman also dead. Like, I don't think that it's up for debate that Roman is dead. Like, so Stu, everybody's like, oh, he could be alive, he could not. No, I'm pretty sure that Stu is dead. We know that Billy is dead, and I'm sure that Roman is dead too. So this leads me to think that either Sydney, I feel like at this point, Sydney of Scream 7 is not Sydney of Scream 3. I am not really anticipating Sydney having hallucinations.
No.
I think that she's really come to grips with everything.
Right.
I saw someone suggest that they're going to recreate Maureen's death.
Someone. That was me.
Oh, was it you? Sorry, I've been reading a lot too. But yeah, so what do you think? I don't think that these guys are coming back in the flesh.
They're definitely not coming back in the flesh. It's definitely going to be a dream sequence. I can't imagine them having like the real moxie to recreate Maureen's death as the opening scene. Also, I don't want to see another home invasion opening scene. Scream 2 had like one of the best ones. The reason why Scream 2 is so dope because it's so different. And they haven't had a different one. And I know people think that Scream 6 had a different one. It really didn't. I think people think it was different because it was at the restaurant, but it ended up just being a home invasion.
Yeah, Ghostface in his house.
But I could just imagine it's just been a dream. Like literally having a dream of the murder. And what they're going to de-age them and make them less old looking.
Well, they de-age Billy.
Does he look young to you in those movies?
No, Dante, of course he fucking doesn't. I can obviously tell that this man is like very old.
I think they should go back and watch Scream 5 because Billy looks old, right?
Yes, Dante. As soon as I saw him, I was like, okay. But I understood the vision.
Okay, so I'm not even excited to know what that's going to do.
Right.
I mean, like, do you even want to see it at this point?
So it's tough because when they said that Stu was coming back, I've had a few days to like digest that information, and I'm a little bit more at peace with it now, because I do believe that, because they announced that Roman's coming back too, and I don't think that people debate whether or not Roman is dead. Because they announced that, and because it's those three specific Ghostface, I was like, okay, this is either going to be a dream sequence, it's going to be a hallucination, or they're going to recreate Maureen's death. And so I was like, as long as they don't bring Matthew Lillard back with like fucking stitches and scars on his face or some stupid shit like that, I was like, okay, I can deal with that. Especially because Kevin Williamson is directing it, and because Sydney is coming back after not being in the last movie, and I think they're gonna focus a lot on Sydney and, like, her life. I think that they are gonna address some things that happened in the past. I think that they're gonna dredge up some stuff, probably give some finality to Maureen's story.
Sydney,
And yeah, and Sydney, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that they're doing this in a way to kind of
phase Sydney out.
maybe, but maybe just kind of bring her story full circle. If this story is focusing on Sydney, I think that we can only assume that this person that is a killer, hopefully it's going to be somebody close to her. Something that makes it real, something that feels like a betrayal. We'll see. I hope that it's not just like a paint by the numbers type story. I hope that they do give us some like character driven stuff with Sydney, because we haven't seen her in a while. We haven't seen the story focus on her. So I don't know. We'll see. Well, yes. So those are the casting announcements. I'm not like super excited about it. I also don't like one of the things that we like about Scream, and Scream 2 was like very very similar, is it's a small number of people. Once you start adding all of these people, it's like it's too much. You can't really get connected with any one character. You can't focus on any one storyline. This is a lot of characters. And these are just the characters that we're discussing with like the castings, because these are people that are coming back. There's also other characters in this movie. There's some young actors too. There's two young women. I can't exactly remember who's in it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm old. But there's two like young actresses that are in it too that I guess are going to be kind of like the replacement for Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. This is a lot of people. This is a lot of fucking people. And at a certain point, it's like when you have this many people, it's like you want to have people that are fodder, but you don't want to kill anybody that is like quote unquote important. And that is, I think that that's a recipe for like kind of a mess. Like Halloween is good because Lori is the last one of her friends standing. They had to kill Linda and they had to kill Annie because that is really scary. These girls that we have watched this whole movie, they're just living their lives. These are her best friends and now they're dead. And that carries a lot of weight when you don't want to kill anybody, but you bring in five periphery characters that we never care about, we never actually spend any time with, just to kill them. It's like, okay, well, I don't really care. Now I'm just watching you kill people, and I know Sydney's not going to die. I know Gail's not going to die. So now there's no weight to this. So I don't know.
They're not bringing back Kirby, are they?
No, I don't think so. I don't see why they would. There's nothing. She got stabbed too. There's nothing to really suggest why she would come back.
This, I'm reading this right now. Scream 7. Expanded universe with new spinoff. Wait, what?
Oh yeah, that they wanted to give Kirby her own show or something.
These movies should have ended in 2000. Because now it's just getting ridiculous.
I agree.
Enough about Scream. I'll see it, but I'm not like waiting to see it like I was Scream 5.
Yeah, but we'll see. We never know. It could be great. I don't want to, shit on it yet. We haven't gotten a trailer. We don't know what it's going to be about. But yeah, so that is it for everything that we had on the agenda. Now, Dante, who is constantly at the movies, do you want to tell us what have you seen in the movies the past week or so, and what did you rate them? What have you watched lately?
I haven't missed movies too much. I've only seen 6 movies just so far. 4 of them were horror films. So the first horror movie I saw this year was Wolfman, which I was kind of excited to see, but it really wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. I gave it middle of the road, 5 out of 10.
Okay.
It wasn't like bad, but it was just like, it wasn't really that scary. I also got to see Presence with Lucy Liu. Big fan of hers. That one was kind of cool, because the way it's shot in first person POV. It's a almost like a haunted house thriller.
Okay.
I really liked it. It's a slow burn. I think I rated that one like like a 7 out of 10. It's good.
Okay.
And then when I was talking earlier about movies that were ruined by previews, Companion. I wanted to see Companion because the first previews were really kind of mum. But when I went to see Presents, I caught it was the last preview. It was
Mm.
the last preview. I came in late and I saw it and it spoiled the twist. I'm not gonna spoil it for everybody, but Companion was fun. And it's one of those kind of like funny horror movies. I thought it was good. I think I rated it 7 or 8. I like that one. So that was another good one I saw. Definitely, if you haven't seen the previews, go see it now before you see the previews. And then yesterday, I went to see Heart Eyes with Mason Gooding. He's the lead. Him and Olivia Holt. I liked Heart Eyes. It was like a romantic slasher. Another good movie. Like I said, if it's a horror movie, I'll go see. I'm really excited because at the end of this month, The Monkey. I think I talked to you about it. How excited I am! This is gonna be Osgood Perkins' new movie. I can't wait to see that.
I am very excited about that one.
That's gonna be so good. I cannot wait to see it. All of these, I'm not really a harsh judge on movies, especially the first time I see them. It's kind of like either it's good or bad. Like I said, Wolfman wasn't as scary as I wanted to see, but out of the 4 so far I've seen was probably the worst. You can follow me on. I have a letterbox. My username is maybe tomorrow, as in maybe tomorrow I'll be at the movies, and I kind of I rank them. I don't really say anything, but I rank all the movies I've seen. I also have my ranks of like movies I saw last year, movies from certain decades. So follow it if you want to. We'll link it.
Yeah, we'll link it on the Instagram post and then we'll link it in this episode description.
Yeah, but that's it. So
Thank you.
we talked a lot.
We did cover a lot. And then, like we said earlier, we have some episodes coming out. Like we said, we have a ton recorded, a ton recorded. We're going to be starting recording on new ones soon. I know we have a lot of requests from people, so we are going to get to those. Desh, Michael, I have not forgotten about you. Bianca, my cousin, I have not forgotten about you either. We're going to do the ring. We're really trying to get there, but life is really busy. We have a lot going on, but we are working on it. I promise you guys.
We work full-time jobs.
Yes, we are not getting paid to do this. So we're working full-time jobs. I'm trying to move, take care of my animals, but we're working on it. In the meantime, I'm hoping that we can put out more episodes like this so we can do pulse checks with you guys in between our full-length movie reviews. So don't think that this is going to take over our content. It's not. We're definitely still going to be bringing you guys movie reviews. Don't worry. But we just, we want to check in with you guys and just talk freely for a little bit because that is one thing that we don't get to do a ton on the actual episodes because, it's just so much to cover. But yes. So if you guys have any stuff that you want us to talk about, get our opinions on, or as always, if you want to request any movies, you can always email us. Dante's going to go over all that stuff in just a minute. And then you can always reach out to us on Instagram. We're there. You can comment, you can message. So, yes, thank you all for sitting with us today.
Thank you.
Did you want to tell them about the social media?
Okay. We love to hear from you guys. Please follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook with the handle Did You Get That on Film? You can also email us at didyouggetthatonfilm@gmail.com. For our Spotify and Apple Podcast listeners, leave us a review as well as a rating. Reviews are the best way to support the podcast and help it reach a further audience.
That sounds great. And that's it for this week. We hope to be back next week with a brand new episode. So until then, bye!